Okay, welcome again to everybody watching this on video. I am at the 11 a.m. meeting for February the 2nd, 2026. And in a sense, I'm actually glad that no one is here to discuss a uh, appointed Bible study subject because I've got something else on my heart, and this might take more than the half hour maximum I've allotted. In fact, I think I might be talking about this for quite a long time. I have in my heart a need to write a book on this subject now. I don't like the idea of writing books and charging people for books because I don't like the idea of making a profit out of Christianity. When I write, I will have it sold through Christian bookstores so that people can find it publicly available. I will make sure that it is an incredibly affordable price. And every cent from it that might be profit will go purely to the ministry, to getting this message out to people. And when I say this message, it might be these videos or more books or advertising to uh, get people in to watch these videos, etc. Or developing a person from the point of salvation through to a relationship with God and the three tiers. And I've got an actual new wording for the three tiers as well, which I can't quite recall at this moment, but I'll just try. And I put it as three steps: step up, step forward, and step out, I believe they were. I just came up with this a few days ago, this wording for it anyway. The tiers have been there for a while. Tier one, step up your relationship with God. You are building a firm understanding of Christianity and your relationship with God and your relationship to the world due to having God in your life. Step two, tier two, step forward. You are moving forward in your call. In this step, you are discovering your call, you're training for that call, and you're getting ready to launch that call. The final tier on top is step out. You are stepping out from that training, stepping out into ministry. You are launching that call. And you're doing so with this community, the narrow door, as a community of Christians around you, helping you do that. And all the ones in your local area, we will try and get people connected in their local area to know each other in their local area and communicate with each other in their local area. And if somebody steps out into a new ministry, to support that ministry, etc. So the three steps, tiers of this ministry. I'll get on to what I have on my heart. The last week or so, I have been disrupted in what I do in this ministry and for God. And it seems that every day I would normally start at around about 8 a.m. and go through to at least 8 p.m., maybe 9 or 10. So a 12 to 14-hour day every day. Wednesday's a little different. I do some shopping on Wednesdays, and if I've got medical appointments or something like that, they'll be on Wednesdays. So Wednesday, I'll have some natural things to do as well. Doesn't mean I'm not being busy. It's not leisure time. I don't have time for leisure. Mind you, I do actually, after finishing, let's say I finished at, say, 9 o'clock at night, I'll sit down and watch TV for an hour or so. I need to get all the excitement in me out. I need something to calm me down before going to sleep or going to bed, or I'll be laying in bed for an hour, and after an hour, it's like I've just got to get up and either start writing or start doing things because I've now got another dozen ideas to work on just by laying there and not being able to shut my brain down. So I need that time watching something that doesn't relate to ministry, that doesn't make me think more, to reset my brain to sleep. Some of the time that doesn't work either. Some of the time I go to bed and bang, I'm back to thoughts of ministry, etc. So over the last week or so, most days things have distracted me, and I'm not saying distractions as in uh, being distracted by entertainment or something. I'm talking about things that take me in another direction, either for a purpose or because I can't attend what I'm trying to attend to ministry, etc. In which I have been getting, say, half an hour to an hour of actual work done in that 12 plus hours. One example was I make these videos and I edit these videos. Some of the time I might be talking along and I say something and it's like, oh, hang on, no, that's not really right. And I might stop for a moment and I might reword what I've said, and I might stutter and stumble a lot, say lots of ums and ahs, and I will then go back and edit those ums and ahs out, at least audibly, because what I'll do is remove the audio piece of that track. And in some cases, I might uh, have said something just that is certainly doesn't fit. It's not right. I will just edit that out entirely. And it might only be a sentence, but I'll just cut that out. And there's other things that I might, between words of a thought or a sentence or something like that, I might take a few extra seconds between the first thought verbally coming out and the second thought verbally coming out. And when I watch that back while editing, it's like, well, it's just too much of a gap between what I'm saying. So I will speed that up. You might see sections where I'm moving like this and suddenly I move like this. That's because I've taken that section and I've made it 3 times the speed and reduced it down to that let's say 5 seconds. I've reduced down to about 1.5 seconds to make it a more suitable gap, rather than being a potentially boring video by me talking so slowly that it's difficult while I get each and every word out. And there you go. There's an example. Each every. I'll leave that one in. Not cutting that one out. Okay. So it can be quite different when I'm talking like this, when I am just so excited about a subject and not necessarily excited as in, oh, this is a fun subject. I can be excited about hard, harsh subjects because the excitement I'm talking about is not an anticipation of joy, but it's an anticipation of getting an important message out. So I am still excited, and I can be excited for things that'll be harsh and hard, but I'm still in the I've got to get this out type attitude, which I'm in right now. So therefore, I'm not likely to have big breaks between words within a sentence, like the one I just showed as an example, the kind of thing that I reduce. As I've been saying, a week has gone and I've had maybe 5 to 10 useful hours out of it. In all reality, the whole week has had a use of its own. Firstly, I'll give you an example. In the editing, and this is why I brought this up, and now I'm remembering, I found that some of the videos had a very mechanical voice. I would be talking, yeah, like that. And even though I was talking naturally, there was something wrong in the audio in the video itself. And I I did everything I could for the video program within Windows. So the video camera and audio were working properly. And I ended up uninstalling that and reinstalling that. And it took quite a while, not just the uninstalling and reinstalling, but all the other steps that I'd tried before going to the drastic step of uninstalling a Windows component and reinstalling it, because that's a drastic step. I tried refreshes and things like that, which is more simple steps. And nothing helped. And hours had gone by. And then I realized that, oh, hang on, I've got it around the wrong way. I thought the Zoom videos were coming out fine, and my regular camera messages were the ones that were distorted. And then I realized, oh, hang on, I'm getting the distortion when I'm recording on Zoom, but not on the regular camera. It's like, oh, there's the morning wasted. And my next thought was, oh, now I'm going to be spending however long through the afternoon fixing this. And it seemed like it took the entire afternoon. Eventually, I found one little tick box in the settings in Zoom. And I've been finding it difficult to even find the settings in Zoom, etc. And then going through them, and you've got different lots of settings that it appeared by my memory. And one of the sets of settings had different components in it, general settings, video settings, audio settings, of course, audio settings, and like half a dozen other settings. And I looked at all of them and looked at what changes needed to be made in all of them. I tried different changes, etc. And then I went back over it again. And then I noticed, oh, hang on, right at the bottom of the audio settings, there's a little box sort of thing that says advanced. It's like, oh, I missed that. Clicked on that. It's like, okay, it's got 4 settings within itself. And it's a matter of trial and error. The first setting, I went, okay, well, there's 3 possibilities here. Let's run it by changing from where it is now to that second possibility and do a test. Okay, it's still giving a robotic sort of voice. Right, so now let's change that to the third setting and try that. and it's still doing the same thing. Okay, so let's go down to the following setting underneath, and that's got two settings. That one said, if you've got audio problems, it's quite likely that it's this setting. It's like, oh, this could be the one. So I change a setting there. I do another test. It's like, oh, that sounds so much better. That sounds 99% better. It still doesn't sound perfect, but it sounds near perfect. And then it's like, okay, well, I'll go to the setting below, and the setting below, I'd made a change as well. It's like, well, it's now from 99% perfect to 99.5% perfect. Still, it just seemed to me not quite as perfect as the original before the issue came up. Still, it seemed like it's now correct. And the last setting did nothing. I looked at the time and it was pretty much late afternoon by this point. And it's like, well, there's a whole normal person's day gone. I've spent 8, 9 hours on this. And I spent some time through the night doing something else that was a bit of a distraction as well. So, what I'm talking about is not distractions that are entertaining type distractions or how one might distract themselves by watching TV, but distractions as in things going wrong and taking me out of what I need to do from a need to deal with them. The whole week was like that. Now, the end of the week was very interesting, though. The distractions then made the whole week fit in. I think God needed me to have the whole week go haywire, just so my mind was in a certain place. And when it came to what God actually wanted me to learn, and it's a learning process that happened here. It was an improvement on what I now have been talking about for quite a while. What happened was I went out on Friday night and I talked to some people who were talking about who were evangelizing in Surfers Paradise. And I'll quickly say hi, Dave, and I'm going to stay on this track. So I went and I talked to these people and talked about styles of evangelism. And I said to them that what I do is present the good things of God. You see, God brings you, and I just quoted Galatians 5:22 and 23. God brings you love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, forgot one, gentleness and self-control.
Self-control.
Yeah, no, between gentleness and goodness, what's that one? Joyfulness or
I'll look it up.
doesn't matter. Okay, I've forgotten one. Faithfulness. That's the one
There
between
you go.
goodness and gentleness. There's an F between the G's. Okay. So anyway, and I was saying to them, this is what I present because I've been told that people are presenting that the God says these are the 10 commandments, and if you break the commandments, you're going to hell. And Jesus came to save us from that. So let's go through the commandments and see what commandments you've broken, and therefore you're uh, going to go to hell unless you accept Jesus in your life. And that's their method. And they said to me, "Your what you're preaching is not the gospel." And I was totally shocked. I was thrown. And they said, no, you've got to preach sin and that Jesus came to take you from sin so that you can go from heaven to hell.
Mm.
And I was totally amazed. And I know that one of these people got this attitude from a person called, oh, should I even name names? A famous evangelist. And I then the next day spent that day looking up this person. And this person basically says that you should not present the gospel as life enhancement. He strictly avoids telling people Jesus will improve their lives, better marriage, peace, etc. He views this as a false gospel that leads to false converts or lukewarm Christians who fall away because they weren't seeking righteousness, only happiness when trials come.
Mm.
The parable of the sower, he believes the stony ground is the hearer who accepts Jesus for joy. And I think the Bible actually says in joy, not for joy. So I think there's a bit of a twist there, but
Mhm.
hasn't had the soil of their heart plowed by the law. He says to avoid easy believism and warns against reducing the Bible to self improvement or life enhancement. And my attitude is that that's firstly nuts. Because if you're going to preach that God does not bring life enhancement, you're wrong. I looked further, and apparently he also says the modern gospel says God loves you and has a wonderful plan for your life, and he can give you peace, joy, and fulfillment. While those things are true, they are byproducts of the gospel. Hang on. What he's saying is avoid a particular message and what? Then later say, oh, but the reality is, excuse me, are you going to be, in a sense, even though it's a good two-faced, are you going to be a two-faced Christian? Are you going to say, I'm going to present one message and later present another because one message is far more important? No, it's a gospel as a whole. Oh, by the way, the word gospel means good news, not let's scare you into heaven. And before I even go on to how that message is not what he thinks, let's look at everybody else. Let's look at the atheists, the Gnostics, the skeptics, the people who believe in other gods, everyone who believes there is no heaven and hell. And that seems to me to be 70 to 90% of people.
Mm.
How do you tell them about heaven and hell when they don't even believe it in the first case? You've lost them. And he says that people seeking God for selfish reasons, the joy, etc., that he can bring, will fall away when they don't get it. Well, excuse me, isn't saving yourself from hell and giving yourself the reward of heaven a selfish reason? In fact, isn't it the ultimate selfish reason? This
Mm.
is nuts to me because it seems to me that he has a massive contradiction in his own self. It seems to me that the legalistic thing about this, and he seems to be a very legalistic person because from what I see, he has exactly the same method of approaching every single person. And what he tells people is you've got to do this and this and this in this order. And it's like, well, he might not be legalistic as in you've got to follow the law, but he seems to be a legalistic person as in Your process needs to be exactly in this direction. So a legalistic
mm,
mindset behind it. So I think there's something legalistic in his life, but I don't know. I don't know the man. All I know is from what I've researched. So let me get back to the other point. God bringing good things in your life. Did I say God will, when I say God brings love, joy, peace, patience, etc., did I say God will make everyone love you? No. God will bring you a love that you can love them even if they hate you. You can have
mm.
love among hate, love amidst a hateful environment. You can have joy when there is disruption all around you. You can have peace when the environment would normally make
Isn't
you
peaceful.
anxious. You can learn God's
Mm,
peace. I didn't say God changes your environment. I didn't say God will make your life wonderful. I said God changes you. And that change is a wonderful thing. That change is a fantastic thing that if you understand that change, which all I can see is he can't even comprehend it. He can't comprehend that a person would want that kind of change in their life from the wonders of the change itself. My life is just wonderful, even in the bad circumstances, and
mm,
am so happy about my life in those circumstances anyway. And that's what I want people to get. Now, if heaven and hell didn't exist, he's got no case at all. But in my world, if heaven and hell don't exist, I've got people that'll have a far better life right here, right now. And not only that, if they themselves have found peace, etc., even though they're in an anxious environment, the peace in them might spread out a little bit of peace within the environment, and they are making the world a better place. The love
mm,
in them is spreading love towards that hate out there, and that hate is reduced by the love in them. They're creating their own good world. Totally opposite. I've got a lot more to say about this. In fact, as I mentioned before, Dave, you even came in. I mentioned I've got to a point where I think I've got to write a book about this. And it's not for money. I don't care. I'm going to give every cent of any kind of profit away back to the ministry. Dave, you caught the very end of what I'm talking about. I've only got about a minute or so left. Any thoughts?
No, look, it's really, really true, everything that you've been talking about, because scare preaching doesn't work. Threatening doesn't work. It's not what it's about. Anyway, Jesus didn't come along and threaten everybody. He was helping people. He was walking through the land, improving stuff. He was healing people. He was teaching people. He was guiding people. And it wasn't only the physical provision. It wasn't only the feeding. It wasn't only the healing. It wasn't only the other bits and pieces. It was the mindset. We're always told about the mindset, changing the mind.
Yeah. And the woman at the well, he said, I
Mm,
bring living waters. And I just realized the irony of this. Uh, oh, I shouldn't mention it because I'd said I wouldn't mention the person. Those words, living waters, relates to something about his ministry anyway. So I'll just put it that
mm,
way. I won't say what part. So therefore, I will try not to expose him. And the irony behind it. Actually, another ironic thing that I discovered was he said that you need to be all things to all people, quoting some verse in the Bible. I don't recall which one.
mm, mm,
And he
mm,
said, you've got to give every single one exactly the same message, but
mm.
change your tone just to be, which is ironic because it's like you're still being exactly the same. But he's saying, no,
Yeah.
be different to them by. If it's a business person, talk like a business person. If it's a worker, talk like a worker or whatever. It's like, what the?
Mm,
Do you not
yeah.
understand? There's not just about coming across to sell it to them.
Mm,
Because I'm wondering, this is just me thought right now, if you need to resort to sales tactic tricks rather than the value of it on itself, the wonderful
yeah.
things God brings by bringing those fruits of the Spirit in your life. If you need to resort to those sales tricks, then do you not believe in, does he not believe in the wonders of God?
Yeah.
I had this doubt. Uh, Anyway, if I do have this last couple of minutes posted as well, I'll just wrap it up now. I might have cut before now, but if not, um, I hope you have all more than enjoyed this, but understood something from this.
Mm,
I think I'm going to be talking about this an awful lot in the future. I know I've got to write at least one book on this now.
definitely.
Okay, so bless you. Have a wonderful time until you catch up with the next one.